I've been at this for almost 2 years now, and well, I've yet to do a collab with anyone, though to be fair, I just barely reached 100 subscribers not long ago. I'm in no position to ask anyone, and besides, it's not like someone's just going to walk up to me and offer...
Hey, Ken!
What? Who are you?
Oh, I'm RazorTheAwesome. I have my own show, Where Do We Go From Here? It's about sequels and the movie industry, and... we've been friends for well over 2 years.
Alright.
Great! So, what are we reviewing today?
Well, I was kinda hoping that whoever I would do a collab with would bring something.
So, you have nothing.
Kinda.
That's okay. I got something.
The fuck is this?
It's the Mega Man cartoon from the 90s.
There was a Mega Man cartoon in the 90s? Well, this is out of my comfort zone.
That's why I'm here, because I suppose you don't know anything about Mega Man, do you, Ken?
Well, I have an amiibo.
Of course you do. You have, like, what, 40 of them?
Actually, I think it's more like 70. I have a problem.
Naturally. Anyway...
The year was 1993. Bill Clinton had just been elected president, the Bombay riots had just occurred, Steely Dan had reunited for the first time since 1981, the first episode of The X-Files had just aired, Jurassic Park had just overtaken E.T. as the highest-grossing worldwide film of all time, and Mega Man was the shit. They had just released the 6th game in the series in Japan, and fans couldn't get enough. So much so that the following year, Capcom would commission the production of the 90s cartoon that we are reviewing today. And if any of you non-90s kids out there ever wondered where the phrase "super fighting robot" comes from, here's your answer. However, back in 1993, despite the release of their 6th game, sales had started to decline, and Capcom was looking for something really, really big to get people interested in their top-selling franchise again. What I like to believe happened was pretty much this.
Alright, men! It's the 90s and people are starting not to buy Mega Man anymore. We need something that will get them buying Mega Man again.
I know! What if we set Mega Man in the future and make him more of an adult as opposed to a kid?
He's a robot. He doesn't age.
Alright, well what if we make the game about a new Mega Man who is an adult and does take place in the future? That way it can be darker and edgier and way more action-packed. Kids love that, right? I mean, they love the future.
I like the way you're thinking, but we can't call him Mega Man. We need something cooler, something edgy, something so 90s that people will just automatically know it's Mega Man, but cooler.
Okay, how about Mega Man X?
You, sir, are getting a raise.
And thus, Mega Man X became a thing. Go see Aaron Hansen's sequelitis video if you want to know more about that, because I'm not going to go into how awesome it is when he already did a better job than I ever could. And because it was the 90s, and because it was awesome, Mega Man X was a huge hit. So that's why, 2 years later, in 1995, in order to promote the upcoming sequel to their surprise smash hit, they decided to produce the episode of the Mega Man cartoon that we are reviewing today. Mega X.
Get all that?
I guess.
Good, because that's all you're going to get. Anyway, let's begin.
That's my line. Oh.
We begin with Dr. Light giving some reporters a tour of his lab so we can show off the new metal he's invented, which he's named Lightanium.
Oh, I get it. Lightanium. Like titanium, but made by Dr. Light. Ha, ha, ha. That's so clever.
Basically, Dr. Light explains to them that before, while they were only able to produce a small amount of plasma...
Yeah, just enough to power up my blaster.
Huh. Why does Mega Man sound so familiar? I'm sure it's nothing.
But now, because of Lightanium, they're able to produce much more plasma than they ever could before.
We'll ignore for a moment that plasma is just the fourth state of matter and not the magic do-everything material that most science fiction in the 90s said it was.
The tour is interrupted, however, when we see that Dr. Wily and the Robot Masters flying overhead getting ready to steal the Lightanium.
I'll show the city what real power is.
Huh. I wonder why Dr. Wily sounds so familiar.
The balls are inert.
After doing his mandatory evil laugh, Dr. Wily then cuts all pretense and launches an all-out attack. But don't worry, Dr. Light thought ahead and built a special defense system for situations such as this.
Grabbing claws. His defense system is to have Claws come out of the building, grab the planes, and throw them at other planes.
Gee, nice security system.
No, Proto Man, it is not a nice defense system. I mean, wouldn't it be smarter and easier to make guns or lasers or anything other than fucking claws? I mean, Dr. Light is smart enough to give robots full sentience, but somehow anti-aircraft guns are somehow beyond him.
Whoa, Ken. It's just a cartoon. No need to overthink this.
I don't think you've noticed, but that's kinda what I do here.
And then some tanks show up and get slipped up by some oil. Then Mega Man shows up and jumps into one of them.
No, he jumps behind the tank, then somehow pulls two guys out of thin air, then slips back behind it. God, that's lazy.
To be fair, this was the 90s. Are you really surprised?
Nope, in fact, I'm hoping for worse.
Then the Robot Masters show up and...
Jesus, thank God he was a robot. If he wasn't, I don't think they'd get away with this on TV, or at least not with the same rating.
So after taking out Gutsman, Mega Man then proceeds to defeat both Cutman and Snake Man almost effortlessly, albeit with less robot gore.
This forces Dr. Wily to retreat.
This isn't going your way, Doc.
Shut the fuck up, Proto Man!
We then cut to Wily's lab where he explains that he needs the Lightanium to power his
Super Blaster.
Wait, why the fuck would you build a weapon but make it powered by something you don't have? That's like buying a video game for a system you don't own. What the fuck are you gonna do with it?
Do you really think the writers for this show thought or cared about that? I mean, it's not like this is the first time Wily's done shit like this.
You got a point.
Before Wily can exposit anymore, however, a time portal suddenly opens up behind him and Vile and Spark Mandrill from Mega Man X step out of it, with Vile looking and sounding as menacing as he is in the games.
I am Vile, Reploroid from the future. I'm here to bring Lightanium rods back to my time, and you will help me.
Alright, here's my question. While I have absolutely no problem with this, of all the robots Sigma could have sent back to get the Lightanium, why did he send Spark Mandrill? Vile I can understand. The guy is second only to X and Zero in terms of how powerful he is. But why Spark Mandrill? I mean, out of all the bosses in the first game, like Storm Eagle, Sting Chameleon, Armored Armadillo, and Chill Penguin, why did they choose to send...
Wait, there's a penguin robot?
Yeah, he's the ice boss.
Looks like this episode failed on more than we thought.
So with all that, we cut back to Dr. Light's lab, where Vile and Spark Mandrill are just walking in cause they're that badass. But don't worry, Mega Man's on it. This is the song written for the fight scene, to beat robots from the future. They tried to kill me with a... Okay.
Well, that's disappointing. With that, Mega Man, Roll, and Rush try to fight them off. It doesn't go well. Mostly because Vile and Spark Mandrill are apparently made of...
Solid Botanium.
Yeah, not even going to touch that one.
So thanks to their superior metallic exteriors, Vile and Spark Mandrill easily overpower Mega Man and Roll, and are about to finish them off when another time portal opens up, and they're saved by a familiar face.
And his name is...
No!
What?
No, we are not doing that. No memes in my reviews.
Ah, come on!
This is my channel, and I say no memes. Hell, that one is outdated now. It's going to be even more outdated a year from now. If I stop putting fucking memes in my reviews, I'll be no better than the Powerpuff Girls reboot.
Alright, fine. Jeez.
They're actually saved by Mega Man X, who then picks up and throws the electricity that was pinning down Mega Man and Roll because fuck you. Then proceeds to blow up literally everything in order to take down Vile and Spark Mandrill.
But thanks to the power of jump cuts, they managed to escape.
Blast! Vile and Spark Mandrill are gone!
Just to be clear, neither of us edited that footage in any way. That's actually how it happened. They're there for one moment, then there's a jump cut, and then suddenly they're gone. Lazy Ryan is lazy, I suppose.
Dr. Light then comes out to see what all the commotion was about, where X proceeds to drop the mother of all bombshells onto him.
I'm Mega Man X, Dr. Light, and you created me.
You know, considering the fact that X never knew Dr. Light and has had multiple existential crises over the course of his games about why he exists and what his purpose is, I imagine he must be really excited right now. I mean, this is his chance to finally get the answers he's been looking for, and from the man that created him, no less. I mean, he must be...
So this is the laboratory where I was designed and built. It's like walking through history.
Razor is something...
Fucking shit! I mean, okay, yes. At the time of this episode's release, only the first game was out, and the sequel was due to be released later that month. So they didn't have too much of X's backstory to work with here. But come the fuck on, man! Is this all you can do? I mean, even in the first game, X never knew Dr. Light. He was never sure why he existed, much less what his purpose was. Dr. Light was the father figure he never knew, and the fact that he died before he could fully reactivate him left him with a lot of unanswered questions. Now, in this show, he has a chance to finally get those answers, and the best he can do is...
It's like walking through...
Don't show it again!
Moving away from that as quickly as possible, X then explains the plot of the games. It turns out the violent Spock Mandrill's leader, Sigma, wants the Lightanium because it's worth billions in the future so he could fund his war on humanity. Also, Sigma is misspelled.
While there is, in general, nothing wrong with this explanation, I mean, it does fit within the story of the games. What I find absolutely hilarious is that X conveniently decided to leave out certain key details, such as the fact that Dr. Light died before he could fully reactivate X, and as a result, he was stuck in that stasis pod for 500 years before Dr. Kane found him. Or that Dr. Kane used X as a template to create literally every Reploid in the Mega Man X games, making Dr. Light the father of not only a new generation of robots, but also the father of a new generation of humanity, because there are very few real humans left in the Mega Man X games. Or, you know, Dr. Wily's legacy is also still alive in the form of both Zero and the Maverick virus that turns Reploids evil, which is in fact Dr. Wily's Robo-Enza virus that even then in the future they still have no cure for. Which, while that wasn't revealed until Mega Man X4, it's still worth mentioning.
But enough exposition, it's time for the villains to try out the new plan, which involves blowing up a dam to flood the lab. Mega Man and X try to stop them.
I think our future friend needs a little old-fashioned help.
Huh. Why does Cutman sound familiar?
If I chunk this rock at him, he'll just zap it into a million pieces without even opening his eyes.
Then we get this dumb scene. Why did you drop it, Guts Man? Mega Man barely did anything to it.
Despite that, however, X still gets overpowered by Spark Mandrill and the villains manage to get away again.
The copter is repaired.
Wait, why does Spark Mandrill sound familiar?
Boss rules, game your boss rules.
The villains then succeed in blowing up the dam and wash Mega Man and X away, but they get to dry land. Then we cut to the villains who have to deal with those stupid fucking claws again, but they're able to steal the Lightanium, just showing how stupid those fucking claws are.
We then cut to later where Wily, who has apparently already built his
Super Blaster.
for some reason, and the Mavericks are about to go back to the future with the Lightanium rods, and we get a quick cameo from Sigma.
Well done, Mile.
Meh. Could be worse.
Then the Mega Men show up and Wily decides to fire the
Super Blaster.
at them, but he misses. One fight scene that where the only thing of note to comment on is X uses Stickman's powers later, the
Super Blaster.
is destroyed.
With the battle won, X then pushes the Mavericks and himself back into the time portal. And the episode ends with Mega Man speaking about how the future is in good hands.
So that was the Mega Man cartoon, and well, I got nothing out of it. I mean, sure, there are a few things to make fun of, but other than those moments, there's not very much to comment on. Hell, I had trouble writing the script for this video because I literally forgot a lot of what happened in this episode as soon as I finished watching it.
As for me, well, as an actual child of the 90s, this is the only episode from this show I actually remember. And that's only because it has X in it. All the other episodes exist, I guess. But they're really not special, and they just overly exploit 90s cartoon tropes at the time. Wily shows up, does something evil, X stops it, and everything is reset to the status quo by the end of the episode. Also, Rush talks like Scooby-Doo because that was popular, I guess. Nothing is learned, nothing is gained, and with the benefit of hindsight, I guess it makes sense that after this episode there was only one more before the show was cancelled forever.
Well, that wraps that up. Thanks for coming on, Razor.
No problem, Ken. And hey, maybe you can come onto my show sometime.
Sure, and no, go check out his channel, there's a link to it in the description. But if you're like most other people on YouTube and forget that the description is a thing, it's called RazorTheAwesome and his show is called...
Where do we go from here?
Right. Well, with that, I guess we'll see you next time.
One thing is still bugging me, though. Does Mega Man sound familiar?
I fired again, and then I missed, and then I fired, and then I fired, and I missed. I missed both times, and then I fired, and I missed. This went on for several hours, and then I fired, and then I missed.
And then I was out of bullets, and then I got sad.
Yeah.
I had a popsicle, and then I passed out in the snow.